GradingPal is an AI-powered teaching assistant specifically designed to help teachers with the workflow around grading. It gives high-quality feedback for students and rubric-aligned scoring. And I'm excited to tell you today that GradingPal is not just for grading worksheets and essays. It can handle all kinds of submissions, and today we're going to feature presentations, slideshows that children make. Grading presentations can be surprisingly time-consuming. You're watching the slides live as the student presents in class, you're listening for content, you're checking clarity, and you're trying to give feedback that actually helps, often while also managing the class, right? Let me show you how I grade a real student presentation using GradingPal and how I keep my expectations clear and consistent. From the assignment setup wizard, I would scroll down a little bit and click on presentations. Next, if you have an assignment, you can cut and paste it here. If you want to create one with AI, you can do that here. I'm going to say I'm working on mythology. Let's just use AI to create this assignment quickly. If I had some source material that I wanted the students to refer to, I would add that here. I'm going to click Generate Assignment, and you can see the AI used my prompt to generate this assignment about Greek mythology. I'm going to click Next, Create Rubric. Again, if you have a rubric, you can upload it here. Right? Reuse existing if you've had one on GradingPal you want to reuse, or import a file from your device. I'm going to click Generate with AI. I'm going to show you that I can give it some good direction by giving it prompts that refer to standard sets. Like I'm going to say use IB oral presentation standards for this slideshow assignment. It says rubric generated successfully. Let's look. We see different criterion. We have knowledge and understanding of the Greek mythology content. We have analysis, the modern connections that the assignment prompted for. And then, of course, organization of the presentation and communication and oral delivery. You can see the progression. Let's see in oral delivering language, it goes from the student reads mostly from the slides or notes, resulting in limited eye contact, all the way to uses clear language and maintains eye contact for most of the presentation, then uses a variety of appropriate vocabulary and maintains consistent eye contact. This is about speech being well-paced. This is about understandable volume and pace, right? But occasionally glancing at slides. This is like, they hardly even need their slides. They have a confident tone. So we see a nice progression there across rubric levels. Here I have the opportunity to choose a feedback style. Hey, since it's Greek, let's choose Socratic. Socratic is going to ask questions of the student. You can see that previewed here in the middle of the screen in the feedback style preview. And I'll stick with detailed and balanced. Yeah. And I'm ready to upload the submission. The child has shared their PDF with me. I just uploaded the slides, and GradingPal was able to analyze the presentation against the criteria in the rubric and to draft scores and feedback. Here we're looking at a 6th grade presentation for a Greek mythology project. Students researched mythical creatures and gods and presented their learning using slides. You can already see what I'm noticing as a teacher. There are strong visuals, there's lots of information, there's some charming student voice, and there's some places where the organization and context are maybe lacking a little bit. For example, on this slide, the content is accurate and detailed, but the text is a little dense for a presentation. The feedback reflects that. It acknowledges strong research here, 25 out of 25, and strong analytical connections, 15 out of 15, while also representing here in organization and slide structure that the presentation could have been a little bit more engaging. You don't have to write down every single word on a slide. This explanation of the score matches that exactly. It says, however, the presentation does not reach the exceeding level because it utilizes long paragraphs of text rather than the short bullet points recommended for slide readability. Of course, this is a common mistake that children make, and maybe some adults too, but it's good for you to see here how it's perfectly laid out and spelled out in the explanation of the score, so teachers know exactly how to help students improve. The AI definitely gives a lot of praise. It says your connection between Hermes and FedEx was especially insightful and went beyond just a surface level comparison. You can see that the student did a lot of good work here on that page. Then it says, to take this to the next level, I encourage you to focus on the polishing phase of your work by proofreading for small typos like city misspelled there or a giant dragon, and ensuring you include a personal reflection on your final slide. You will ensure your hard work shines through with professional clarity. So it's clear the student knows what they're talking about. They have a passion for what they're talking about. And there's some clear next steps here that could help them improve it even more. I think it's really impressive that the AI was able to pull out those things from both, the visual and the writing. And one last thing here, I actually chose the Socratic style of feedback, and there are some really, really good questions. Look at this one. How does knowing the myth about Persephone and the seasons change the way you look at a simple delivery truck now? So that's cool. It took this idea of Socratic feedback and asked a really nice question there. Then there's a question about reflection on the learning process. What was the most surprising thing you discovered about how the Greeks explained the world through these stories? And I think a student like this might take a question like that and apply it to the kind of work they do on their next presentation to have that personal reflection again at the end, like we saw referenced in the feedback a moment ago. So, as a teacher, this really lightens my cognitive load. Like I mentioned at the beginning, if you're trying to grade presentations, you're watching the student, you're watching the smartboard, you're helping with tech problems, you're maybe solving some misbehaviors in the classroom. There's a lot of cognitive load. And at the same time, you're supposed to be grading, right? So here, with AI's help, you're not starting from a blank slate for every presentation. You're reviewing thoughtful, structured feedback. The AI might not have gotten it not perfectly right. We have other videos about revising some of the AI feedback, but it's a great first draft. The scoring is strong. I have no problems with the scoring. Maybe tweak the feedback here and there, but there's great first draft of feedback that's already aligned to my expectations. So whether it's a sixth grade presentation about Greek mythology and monsters or a high school presentation, GradingPal helps me grade presentations consistently, fairly, and it gives feedback that students can actually use. If presentations are part of your classroom and you want to lighten your cognitive load for grading them, try uploading one and see how fast you can get from maybe I'll grade this later to I'm ready to return this to the student. Give it a try at gradingpal.com today.